Let's be honest with ourselves. College football is a mess. Not the style of play or the atmosphere, but the divisions, transfers, and eligibility. It now feels like every year we're getting another player jumping ship to somewhere else. Someone's getting granted their 9th year of eligibility, while others are suing for it. And the starting Alabama roster is made up exclusively of transfers. So I've decided, once and for all, fix college football divisions geographically so it all can make sense again. Clear up transfer rules and set easy to follow and understand eligibility rules. First off, conferences in the CFB are broken. In no world should the Ohio State Buckeyes be playing the Oregon Ducks all the way across the country in a random Week 4 matchup. Something that I don't think many people realize is that this affects all sports. That means that small sports like field hockey or tennis, which have a fraction of the budget, mind you, that football teams have to travel all the way across the US too. This does not make sense, so let's change it. I'm now going to realign the college football conferences so that they actually make sense geographically. So with no further ado, let's get to fixing. First new conference we've got today is the Midwest Conference, 16 teams. It consists of Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Purdue, Indiana, Northwestern, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Iowa State, Missouri, and Kansas. A strong Midwest league with lots of old Big Ten teams, cold weather, big rivalries like Ohio State versus Michigan, and very loyal fans. Notre Dame also finds a home in this conference. Up next, we've got the Southeastern Conference, also 16 teams, which consist of Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas, South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Navy. The top Southern Football Conference, super competitive, very physical, and full of tradition, has the biggest rivalries in the South, plus Florida State and Clemson. Up next is the Atlantic Conference, also 16 teams, consists of North Carolina, NC State, Duke, Wake Forest, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Maryland, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Boston College, Louisville, Rutgers, Temple, UConn, and UMass. This would be the weaker East Coast Conference, mix of old schools from the old ACC and the Northeast. Not as strong as the others, but has some good old rivalries. Up next is the Southwest Conference, 16 teams. Consists of Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, Houston, SMU, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Cincinnati, Tulsa, Rice, UTSA, North Texas, and Texas State. This is obviously the Texas-centered conference. Lots of Texas and Oklahoma schools. Brings back the old Texas versus Texas A&M rivalry. Tough, hard-hitting style conference. And our last power conference, the Pacific Conference, also 16 teams. It consists of USC, UCLA, Stanford, California, Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, Washington State, Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, BYU, San Diego State, San Jose State, and Hawaii. This is the West Coast Conference. It includes most of the old Pac-12 schools, plus some mountain teams, known for fast play and nice stadiums. And if you're too small to be placed in one of those big conferences, then you can get placed in the new Group of 5, including the Gulf Coast Conference, the Mountain Conference, Great Lakes Conference, and Sun Conference. I will now list those teams that didn't make it, but a little sped up to keep it moving. UCF, USF, FAU, FIU, Memphis, Tulane, UAB, Troy, Southern Miss, South Alabama, Louisiana, Louisiana Tech, Arkansas State, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, Boise State, Fresno State, UNLV, Nevada, Wyoming, Colorado State, Air Force, Utah State, New Mexico State, UTEP, Sacramento State, North Dakota State, San Jose State, Toledo, Bowling Green, Kent State, Akron, Miami, Ohio, Ball State, Northern Illinois, Western Michigan, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, App State, Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Old Dominion, James Madison, Marshall, East Carolina, Charlotte, Liberty, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky, Sam Houston, Missouri State, UL Monroe, Delaware, and Army. So now that the conferences have been fixed, we now move to playoffs. To be honest, I think that the college football playoffs right now are pretty good, but there are a few things I want to clean up. First, we're going to stick to a 12-team setup. I think that this is a pretty fair way to go about things, but how teams are selected for it, that's what we're going to change. The first thing that we are making is our new Group of 5 only gets one automatic bid. This does not give the Group of 5 teams a smaller chance to make it into the playoffs. But let's be honest, I'd rather see a competitive game in the first round than watch Tulane lose by 30 to Oregon in the first round. Off of that, the new member of the at-large bid is 6 instead of 5. This gives the bigger teams that don't win their conference a better chance to make it. Off of these two changes, this makes the field more competitive without adding more teams. Of all the problems we're going over in this video, this one might be the most problematic. This was shown very well during March Madness this year, or lack thereof. I'm used to getting big upsets, but this year we didn't really get any. A big part of this is because of the broken transfer portal. The small schools are unable to compete because once they find a diamond in the rough, they get snatched up by a bigger school with more NIL money. So here's how we're going to fix it. First, one portal in early to mid-March. This is a short, concise portal that gives time for universities to evaluate where they're at and who they want to target. Second, more harsh punishments for broken rules. Looking back on the 2023 Michigan national title win, there weren't ever really major punishments for anyone involved. A few were disciplined, but I feel like it should have been way worse. The new ghost tampering crackdown is a huge step in the right direction. The new punishment is the head coach is suspended from the team for half the season, as well as a 20% fine on the team's entire budget for the year. We need more enforcement like this to keep the integrity of the sport intact. This is the last reason I've got to fix college football, and this one's probably the easiest to fix, but it's also the one that the NCAA struggles with the most. For college football, a switch to a clean 5-for-5 age-based eligibility clock. Players get exactly 5 seasons of competition within a hard 5-year window. What this means is that you get a 5-year window to play college football. This includes redshirts and injuries, so if you get unlucky, you get unlucky. Along with this, we would only allow one free transfer with immediate eligibility during a single smart March portal window, which we talked about earlier. Any second transfer to a new school requires sitting out 1 year or earning a degree first. The eligibility clock keeps running during transfers, academic progress, and mandatory, and schools get a small roster bonus for developing high school recruits instead of loading up on portal veterans. This creates natural roster turnover and ends the super senior carousel, protecting developmental players and brings real stability without removing athlete freedom. That's all I got for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully from this video, you can see the flaws in the NCAA system and come up with some of your ideas of your own to make the sport we all love better. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.
In the verge of field goal range. Arch Manning looking like Grandpa. Touchdown!